Hey guys, welcome to Steph Time. Today I invite you to follow along with me as I sew this top. It is the Elliot top by Cool Stitches, and I made it out of some vintage fabric from my grandma. I had a really fun time doing it and I wanted to show you guys the process. So if you're interested, please keep watching and make sure to check out my Instagram for some really cool pictures of the shirt because I'm really proud of it. Hello, it is VoiceOver Me. You are watching me currently try to pick what fabric I wanted to use. As you can see, I already cut out my pattern pieces and now I'm cutting out my fabric. I went with this beautiful floral fabric from my grandma's vintage fabric stash. And I'm also texting my sisters, what's up sisters? I didn't want to use this fabric initially because it's the first time making this pattern, but then I said, screw it, let's make what we want to make. I was then trying to figure out the best placement for all of my pieces to reduce fabric waste. So I settled on using the edge of the fold for this sleeve and cutting it down the middle. All right, and I'm now cutting out the channels for the ties and the ties themselves. And now I'm marking the front bodice darts on my front bodice pieces, and I'm using transfer paper to do this. And I'm pinning those up, sewing those down, and ironing them off camera. I'm then finishing some raw edges of my piece and pinning and sewing my shoulder seams together, and then moving on to putting basting stitches into the top of the sleeves in order to gather them for a nice poof. As you can see, I've got snacks here. This video is not sponsored by Cheez-Its, but I wish it were. Then I pinned these to my bodice and sewed them down. Then I took out all of those basting stitches so we don't see them on the finished garment. I'm again finishing some raw edges. Now it is time to pin up the side seams and under the arm. I'm also listening to The Invisible Life of Addie Larue, in case you're wondering. Very good book. And we're closing up shop for the night. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. It is tomorrow. I've got my coffee. I'm ready to go. And I'm processing a return at Target, apparently. We are finishing the front neck seam with my serger. And we are ironing that down and sewing it down just in like a normal folded hem. Riveting stuff. We're ironing that off screen. And now we are going to figure out where to put these tie channels. So I'm using my body as a guide, figuring out where I want to put them. I went a little bit up and curved under the bust so that it would hug the boob area a little bit better. I'm pinning this all down. This definitely was the thing that took the longest. And now I'm watching Cool Stitches video and realizing that, oops, I was supposed to pin these to the inside or the wrong side of the fabric, not the right side of the fabric. So I'm marking where I pinned all of them down, unpinning everything, and we're gonna repin that whole thing to the inside of the shirt. I thought about leaving it on the outside, but then decided, no, we must do it the way we intended. We must not be lazy. Shortcuts are okay sometimes, but in this instance, I really cherish this fabric, so I wanted it to be right. I'm folding over the edges of the tie channels. And we're sewing that down with some straight stitches. Nicole from Cool Stitches has an instructional video that's really helpful if you're actually planning on sewing this, where she details all of the steps. And that's what I'm watching while I'm sewing. Now I'm preparing the ties by folding them long ways right side together, making thin straps, and turning them inside out with my loop turner. Once they're all turned right side out, I'm finishing the edges of them so there's not a exposed raw edge. This part's kind of difficult. If you have any tips, leave them in the comments below, but I just kind of try to force them through my sewing machine with a straight stitch. I just finished the raw edge of the bottom, so now I'm hemming the bottom and cutting off any raw threads. Now I'm feeding the ties through the channels using my loop turner as well. Such a useful tool. And once they're all through there, we are now preparing the sleeves. I am ironing the cuff of the sleeve off screen and finishing the raw edge. I'm sewing down some channels for the elastic to go in. I'm using my arm as a guide to figure out how long I want the elastic to be, cutting 2 of those and feeding them through and sewing those elastic together. And then I sew the channels closed. And once that is done, we are done with our shirt. It just needs any threads cut off, and here is the reveal. Again, I had such a great time making this top. It is a free pattern from Cool Stitches. I really hope you guys go and check it out and make one for yourselves. It is a great beginner top. And Nicole from Cool Stitches has an amazing instruction video that you should definitely follow along if you plan to make this. I will leave everything that you need in the description box below, and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and follow along if you want to see more. Bye! Hello and welcome to Steph Time. Today is a day, and it is a good one. I called her my grandmother. If you like this video, give it a thumbs down. And if you want to see more, unsubscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the flip. See ya.